from the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's America's favorite gun-toting, Bible-clinging, deplorable American.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
Todd Starnes.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is the Todd Starnes Radio Show. We are broadcasting border to border, coast to coast, across the fruited plain. And we got a lot to talk about today, everybody. Great to have you with us. And I want you to write down our telephone number. You're going to need this if you plan on calling in today. 901-260-5926. That's 901-260-5926. By the way, ToddStarnes.com is our website, and we would love for you to go and check out all of the great stories, all of the great content that we have there on our website. Well, it's a busy day. It's a busy day. We are watching in just hours. The federal government is going to shut down. Now, look, here's the deal, and you need to know where I stand on this. I say, burn, baby, burn. That's what I say. And the Republicans can't give up an inch here, and I don't believe they are. We're going to talk in just a few moments with Senator Bill Hagerty from the great state of Tennessee. We'll get the latest on the shutdown from him. But I am telling you, the Republicans seem to be holding the line here. And it's the Democrats who are responsible for what's about to happen. Now, here's an interesting component to all of this. This is going to be a win-win for Donald Trump, and let me explain why. If, in fact, the Democrats cave, and they need 60 votes in the Senate, 60 votes, they don't have 60 votes in the Senate. But let's just say, for the sake of our argument, they get the 60 votes, Trump is a winner. But if they don't, all right, and these employees, the federal workers, are furloughed, well, the good news here, ladies and gentlemen, is that Russell Vought over at the Office of Management and Budget says that those workers could, in fact, be fired. Their jobs could just be completely eliminated. So, again, this is another win for Trump. And now we've got word that about 100,000 federal workers are now threatening to resign. And if that's the case, it's another win for President Trump because we've got to start shrinking the federal government here. So, again, the deadline is midnight, and we're going to pay very close attention to how all of this plays out over the next little while. Now we got to talk about what's happening at the Pentagon today, and this is brilliant. So President Trump and the War Secretary, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, they summoned all of the generals to the Pentagon, to Washington, D.C. People have been freaking out about this. He's going to fire them all. Trump's going to take over the military, and he's going to be a dictator. Well, Trump is already in charge of the military. He's called the Commander-in-Chief, ladies and gentlemen. So Pete Hegseth just laying down the law, and he really delivered a powerful speech this morning, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, because he is now calling for an official end to woke culture within the military. And I think they've done a pretty good job thus far of rooting out a lot of that. But Hegseth is also cracking down on this promotion of diversity within the ranks. And Hegseth is just calling it like he sees it. Here is the secretary just moments ago talking about there are not going to be any more dudes in dresses walking around the Pentagon. Take a listen.
This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that.
Oh, yes, he dropped a little word we're not allowed to use, but they're done with it. It's another word for fertilizer. So the secretary delivering pointed remarks, and he also said, and I love this, he's going to raise the physical standards for everyone in uniform to a male level. In other words, there's not going to be one set of rules for female members of the military and one set for men. Everybody is going to be the biggest and baddest they can be, but it has to be at the male level. By the way, Hegseth also said they're going to toughen grooming standards. They're also going to lift restrictions on rules of engagement. Now, this goes back to the Obama administration when you had our troops under fire and they were not allowed to return fire unless they literally got permission from the Oval Office. That's what that's all about. Also, they're going to be doing away with racial quotas, and they're going to end restrictions on hazing for boot camp recruits. I think this is a beautiful idea. Oh, no more beards. He said, no more beardos. The era of unacceptable appearance is over. And he said this, simply put, if you don't meet the male-level physical standards for combat positions, you cannot pass a PT test, or you don't want to shave and look professional. It's time for a new position or a new profession. The secretary also telling the generals who were there in attendance, over 100 of them, that they've got to start losing weight. No more fatties in uniform. Take a listen.
If the Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT, so can every member of our joint force. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And as the chairman said, yes, there is no PT test. But today, at my direction, every member of the joint force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year, as well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year, every year of service. Also today, at my direction, every warrior across our joint force is required to do PT every duty day. Should be common sense. I mean, most units do that already.
So good for the secretary. I'm liking the direction here. The Pentagon, our military, must be the biggest, baddest, scariest military in the world. And people need to fear us. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Peace through strength. And during the Democrat administrations, I think we saw, and Trump understood what had happened during the 8 years of Obama, and he did a lot of work during his first term in our office to really reverse course. Biden comes in, and they're right back to all of this woke nonsense. I mean, you had drag queens on Navy ships, for crying out loud. It's just unbelievable what's going on what had been going on out there. So look, this is all being addressed, and it's like every single day we're getting new intel, and many of you are sending us notes and saying, hey, look, you've got this DEI hire at the Pentagon or in the military, and they're doing X, Y, and Z, and we just pass all that stuff along to the Secretary of War because they are on top of it. And there's not going to be any room in this new military and Donald Trump's military for this woke nonsense. You're not going to have combat troops rushing into battle wearing stiletto heels and fishnet stockings. Those days, ladies and gentlemen, are over. All right, we're going to take a break here. What do you think about President Trump and Pete Hegseth and their plan to overhaul the military, requiring everybody to meet the male level of standards? I love this. 901-260-5926. That's 901-260-5926. This is the Todd Stern Show.
It's Radio Free America. It's the Todd Stern Show.
From director Sean McNamara comes Soul on Fire, based on a true story.
They said you had no chance, but here you are.
Starring Joel Courtney, John Corbett, Stephanie Shostak, Macy McLean, with Devon Franklin and William H. Macy.
If you focus exactly on loving the life that you're living right now, and not the life that you think you could have had or should have had, that's the whole deal right there.
Soul on Fire. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. In theaters October 10th. For tickets, go to soulonfiremovie.com.
Soul on fire.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Thought, well, just for the heck of it, I'll try this Balance of Nature. But I thought, all right, I'll do it for 1 month, and then I can cancel. And so I ordered it for 1 month. I have told so many people about this stuff. They think I'm crazy. So for me to say I would continue to do it means it's got to be good.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements today. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Don't wait. Now's the time to take action. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
Friends, here's a reality check. Your biggest retirement expense likely isn't groceries or healthcare, it's taxes. Add inflation eating away at your dollar, and it's easy to see why so many run out of money. Lassiter Capital helps solve that problem by giving you access to real estate investments designed to generate income, protect against inflation, and provide huge tax advantages. Founder Ty Lassiter calls it the 4 keys to investment success. Visit LassiterCapital.com/Starnes or call 817-912-1569 to schedule your free consultation. We are living in dangerous and unstable times. Hello, everybody. I'm Todd Stearns. Pandemics, international insecurity, shortages, supply chain disruptions, and an economy on the brink. We know we can't simply trust the government to protect us. Now more than ever, everyone needs to be prepared. And being prepared is more than just stockpiling ammo, food, and supplies. Being prepared should also include stockpiling critical prescription medications. And that's where my friends at the Wellness Company come in. Their medical emergency kit contains the prescriptions, antibiotics, antivirals, and antiparasitics that you need to keep you and your family safe, from anthrax to tick bites to COVID and even to a bioweapon like the plague. The Wellness Company's medical emergency kit is exactly what you need to have on hand to be prepared. Go to twc.health/Starnes today and order. That's twc.health/Starnes. Use the promo code STARNS and you're going to save an extra 10%.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said,
if it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code TODD to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
right, welcome back, everybody. Happy to have you with us. You know, it's so funny, Cassie. I know Dylan had to rush out to our the tower site early today, where our beautiful KWAM towers. We are the blowtorch of the Mid-South. So you are graciously handling double duties today. I realized when I came in today that I needed more than one day to recuperate from this massive book tour that we've been on. I think I'm going to need at least a week of recovery.
At least 2 weeks.
Or we're going to have to lengthen the commercial break so I can get a nap in. I'm just...
Get some shut-eye.
I'm just a little punchy is what it is. I'm just a smidge punchy.
Could bring you more coffee.
That would work. All right. Or maybe a Dr. Pepper. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Again, our number, 901-260-5926. Let's go to the phone lines and say hello to Black Conservative, calling us from Oxford, Mississippi. Black Conservative, what's going on?
I'm down here with my brother from another mother in Oxford, Mississippi. And we're about to get on the golf course.
Is that right? So hitting the links today, like you and Trump.
That's right. Me and Trump Jr. Yes. Well, let me say, no, I'm just teasing. I'm not playing with Trump Jr. But I am in Oxford. I am so glad to hear what the Secretary of Defense had to say today. Is long overdue, and you made a very important point. Under the Obama administration. The rules of engagement was just totally, just kind of destroyed the morale of our troops. I even had the opportunity to talk to our troops some of them who was over in, I think, Iraq or Afghanistan during that time, whatever time Obama was in office, and they were saying the rules of engagement just put them at risk, a threat, and you was right about that. One directly told me that, they can't fire upon the enemy even if they're pointing a gun at them unless they fire at them, So I'm glad this is a turning point for our country, because we had the Obama administration, we had the Clinton administration and Biden administration that really undermined our military. It's just been undermined with this woke stuff. So we're going into a new era with this president.
It's interesting going back, and I think this was in 2009 when Obama actually gave a speech at West Point, and if you remember, the soldiers they did not applaud. It was, they were respectful.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
But they were horrified by what Obama was saying, because, again, he was focused on diplomacy, and he wanted the troops to practice diplomacy. Meanwhile, and the soldiers were pointing out, that's all great, but we're talking about the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, and they don't have any rules. It's like, they're blowing everybody up over there.
Yeah, they don't play by the same rules, And as far as the peace treaty, or what they call it, I can't think of it now. The rules of engagement, Geneva, I think it's called something like, I can't recall now. But the enemy doesn't play by the rules. That's the bottom line. The terrorists, they're not going to. Hamas is not playing by the rules. I guarantee you those hostages that are being held, they're not being properly cared for. They're not being, they're not getting the medical attention that they need, the food, nutrition that they need. But yeah, I'm glad to hear what he said. But one thing I really want to say here, what's wrong with Hillary Clinton? I'm so sick of her that she crawled up from behind, the rock every once in a while. You hear that statement she made about...
she's got a problem with white Christians.
No, she said white men in Congress.
She's got, but she's also got a problem with white Christians. She was talking about their religion, and she was talking about Christianity.
Well, she got a, well, here's the deal. Yeah, she has a problem with Christianity, but she's kind of alerting to the speakers who was at those short speakers who was at Charlie Clerk's memorial, who was speaking, and how, you know, those senators and governors, whoever officials were, you know, wasn't afraid to speak of their faith. And
it's true. It's true, Black Conservative, and we're going to get to that audio. We're going to play that a little bit later. You'll probably be on the third or fourth hole by the time we get to that. So, but you know what, Black Conservative, even the most erudite minds need refreshing.
That's right. I'm only 99.9% right most of the time, if not all the time.
This is true.
But keep in mind, Todd, that I am the most erudite mind, brilliant thinker, and political philosopher. Make a note of that.
But are you a good golfer? That's the question, Black Conservative.
Absolutely. I'm a good golfer. I made my first hole-in-one, part 9. I still remember the club that I had. I had a I-3 pin gap wedge, 120 yards, hit a draw right across the lake. Right across the lake, carried 120 yards.
All right, you and I are going to have to play golf one of these days.
Well, I welcome the outcome.
All right, very good. A Black Conservative, have a good time out there on the course, my friend.
I approve this message. Keep America great.
All right, the Black Conservative, ladies and gentlemen. Cassie, I've never met the Black Conservative in person. We're going to have to make this happen. And he's a good golfer, too. Jeez, Lou. All right, 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. We are going to play that audio in just a little while from Hillary Clinton. It is insane, but she's going after white male Christians now. By the way, yesterday, we announced this briefly, and I want to share it with you today again. We are beginning a soft launch of a campaign. A lot of news organizations around the country are now inviting supporters to become donors of the shows or the newspapers. And in our instance, we want to be able to hire more conservative Christian journalists. And for us to be able to do that, we're going to need your help. So for the next little while, we're going to be raising money for the Todd Starnes Show so you can become a supporter and a partner for what we are doing here. 170 radio stations, more than 1.5 million people are now following our work. And so that cost a little bit of money, and we want to be able to hire some new staffers to grow our team here. And you can do that by becoming a one-time or monthly donor. You can give as little as $5 a month, or if you want to give $20 or $100 or $200, whatever you want to give, just go to ToddStarnes.com during the break here, and you'll see how you can support the Todd Starnes Show banner. Just click on that, and you'll be able to donate. It takes just a few moments, and we would greatly appreciate that. And we're going to do something really nice for our donors. But again, we are soft launching this, and we want to give all of you, the great listeners of the Todd Starnes Show, an opportunity to stand alongside and help support conservative talk radio. So again, ToddStarnes.com, and click on that banner. All right, got to take a break here, folks. We've got Roy in Georgia coming up, plus your calls as well. We'll be right back.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time, and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/
the right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It'd be great if life came with a remote control. You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Yikes!
So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of pre-diabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This, and I want to be very clear about this, this is not about preventing women from serving. We very much value the impact of female troops. Our female officers and NCOs are the absolute best in the world. But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. That is not the intent, but it could be the result, so be it. It will also mean that weak men won't qualify because we're not playing games. This is combat. This is life or death. As we all know, this is you versus an enemy hell-bent on killing you. To be an effective, lethal fighting force, you must trust that the warrior alongside you in battle is capable, truly physically capable of doing what is necessary under fire. You know this is the only standard you would want for your kids and for your grandkids. Apply the War Department Golden Rule, the 1990 test, and the E6 test, and it's really hard to go wrong.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was our War Secretary, Pete Hegseth, and he was talking about women serving in the military and especially in those combat roles. And the secretary saying, look, everybody is going to have to adhere to the male standards. And if you don't, then you're not going to be able to serve. I mean, it's in that capacity. And, of course, you watch, and the media is going to go after this and accuse Hegseth of being a misogynist or whatever. But honestly, I'm just here's where I'm at on this. I just don't believe that women should be on the front lines of any battle. I never have. And I'm not questioning their abilities at all. I don't think it's right. And quite frankly, it's dangerous. I mean, aside from the fact that you're getting shot at, but the idea that we could have women troops captured, served, being used as prisoners of war and pawns, I got a problem with that, a big problem with it. And I'm glad to see Hegseth addressing this particular issue. But I want to go back to something that a black conservative said in the when he called in a few moments ago. The reality is that Barack Hussein Obama destroyed the Pentagon and the military. He took the greatest fighting force on the planet, and he's the one that turned it into a fighting force of social justice warriors. I mean, go back to Obama's time in office. Not only did he demand that troops get permission before they engage the enemy, but he preferred that they use diplomacy over bullets. But Obama also, and this, I am telling you right now, this one thing that Obama did is still having an impact on the military today. Obama fired nearly 200 admirals, generals, and other flag officers, and that destroyed the core of the Pentagon. And we're talking about red-blooded American men, conservatives, heroes, one and all. And Obama got rid of all of them. It was the largest purge of the military in at least modern American history. Just unbelievable what he did over the course of 5 years in his administration. And that set the stage for the chaos that unfolded with all of this social justice garbage. And I know many of you actually served in the military during those times, and you had a front row seat to it. And we would certainly love to hear from you. 901-260-5926. That's 901-260-5926. So Trump is trying to undo damage that was done all the way back to 2008, 2009. And you got to love the president for doing that. Oh, by the way, here is President Trump walking into the room, and it was silent. Nobody applauded, nobody cheered, nobody hooted or hollered. Cut number 7.
Thank you very much, Pete. Great job you're doing, too. Fantastic job. I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very... Oh, don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future. But you just feel nice and loose, okay? Because we're all on the same team.
I love that. And I'm telling you, these men, they love their president. Maybe not these generals. Because, look, many of these generals are the ones that were put there by Barack Hussein Obama, right? So we've got to undo all of this damage that's been done. There were so many far left. Look, General Mark Milley is a great example of this, all right? So you've got a lot of very bad people that are serving in the military, and Trump is rooting all these people out. And the fat generals, they're gone. They're either going to lose weight, get Ozempic, or they're gone. I got an Ozempic story in just a minute. Let's go to the phones first, though, 901-260-5926. And we're also monitoring the big government shutdown, which is what Roy from Georgia wants to weigh in on. Hi, Roy. What's up?
Hey, how you doing, Todd? I'm a first-time listener, and I've listened to you for first-time caller, but I've listened to you for years, man.
Well,
Everything
thank you,
do,
Roy.
everything you stand for. I just have one question. You know, I'm just an average truck driver in Northeast Georgia. I ain't got a doctorate in economics or nothing like that. But when they talk about these government shutdowns, I mean, the government, it is funded by taxpayer dollars, right?
Yeah, the last time I checked, every single penny of it, my friend.
Okay, so if they shut it down, I mean, then the tax dollars still got to go somewhere that they take out of my paycheck every day.
Well, this is true. This is true.
So what do they mean by shutdown? I don't understand it because the money's still coming in. What are they shutting down?
It's a fair question. Well, they're shutting down what they call the non-essential parts of the government. And Roy, I don't know about every time I hear non-essential, my first question is, well, if it's non-essential, why do we have it in the first place?
Have it in the first place. You're right. You're absolutely right. But yeah, I just want to ask that. I hope they shut it down, to be honest with you, because what the demon rats are asking for is just something that's not even something to discuss. I mean, I'm to the point to where this is a battle between good and evil, my friend.
It is. And Roy, I'm just curious, do you want the Republicans to hold the line here?
Of course. I shut it down. I could, like you said, half of the government is non-essential anyways, and so as long as the military's paid, Social Security's paid, stuff like Medicare, things that people need, all that other stuff, and just kick rocks,
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, and the money will sit in the bank. And then when they get it all figured out. But if we can start eliminating some of these jobs, again, the government shuts down at midnight. By 12:01 a.m., I'm sending out pink slips.
That's right. Hold the line is all I can say.
That's it. Hold the line. All right, Roy, we're going to pass along that message to our friends up on Capitol Hill because they need to hear from people like you, Roy, the hardworking taxpayers of America. And I understand you're a truck driver. Roy, I was in Iowa over the weekend, and there are a lot of truck drivers out there. They're hauling around all that corn and the pork and all that stuff, the pigs. I met a lot of truck drivers, and they love the show. And, Roy, we just love all you guys working out there on the big rigs.
I used to go to Chicago twice a week until I had my little girl. So that was a little bit out of my geography in the first place, but, I mean, it paid the bills. But, I have a little girl. She's 3 now, and so I figured, I'd take a little cut and pay and be home, and be home every day so I can see her. So all I do is I go around, I pick up fertilized eggs that we ship to Mexico. We ship about 3.5 million fertilized eggs to Mexico a week. So
is that right?
Evidently they're eating a lot of KFC that way.
A lot of KFC south of the border. That's brilliant.
I'm over here in the poultry capital. They call this the poultry capital around Habersham, Rabun County, Hall County, Gainesville, Georgia, around that way. So
years ago, Roy, we were doing an event in Gainesville and brought some of my crew from Fox News in New York City down, and they were so excited. They'd never been to the South before, and they were excited to see the mountains and that good old country air.
Yep.
And Roy, we found ourselves on one of those mountain roads heading up into White County, and you probably know those roads. Roy,
I live close to Helen, Cleveland, Georgia. Yeah.
Roy, for about 25 miles, we were stuck right behind a chicken truck, and they got a nice healthy whiff of that good old country air.
Oh my God, yeah, I bet.
All right.
Well, we love you around here, Tom.
Well, thanks, Roy. I'm mighty partial to that part of the country as well. Good people. You guys are great people out there, and we sure do appreciate you listening. And Roy, thank you for calling in today. I gotta tell Cassie. Should I tell the Ozempic story?
You're gonna have to.
It's a funny story.
Yep.
Okay, so you're familiar with the historically black colleges and universities, the HBCUs. Barack Obama did not fund the HBCUs. You know who did that? It was Donald J. Trump. They call the guy a racist. Trump's got to be the worst racist in the history of racism because he's done more for the black community, the minority community, than Barack Hussein Obama, who was black. Well, depending on who you talk to. I'm just saying. I'm only repeating what others are saying out there. So anyway, there was a big football game between Alabama State University and FAMU. And, of course, the marching bands in the HBCUs are just off the charts, insanely good. And so many of them have the dance teams, right? So you've got these dance teams. And one of the schools, Alabama State, has a dance team, and I'm trying to be polite here. It's a full-figured dance team. Let's see here. Full-bodied? Well-rounded? No, I don't want to say obese because I'm just going to say they're plus-sized. Is that appropriate? And they're plus-sized. And Cassie, you've seen the photographs of the girls.
I have.
All right.
Yep.
Well, I'm just saying that, they probably are familiar with the Golden Corral. I'll leave it at that. So anyway, and look, they're very attractive. I mean, they've got beautiful smiles and they've got the dance moves. And that's an impressive thing to do when you're out there on the football field. So anyway, they were being introduced, the plus-sized dance group from Alabama State University, and they're known as the band is the Mighty Marching Hornets, and the girls are known as the Honeybees, but bees is spelled with a Z. So here is how the game announcer introduced the plus-sized dance team.
Congratulate them. They're now the new face of Ozempic.
Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, no, he didn't. What? It's true. He said they called them the new face of Ozempic. And so the announcer is in a lot of trouble right now. And I'm just telling you, the crowd, and it goes, they were booing and they were ready to storm the press box and take this guy out and, do the stomp right there in the middle of the football field. So the Alabama State University president, a guy by the name of Dr. Quentin Ross, is enraged. While we recognize the spirit of competition, there's no place for disparaging or demeaning remarks directed at our scholars. He also spoke directly with FAMU's president, as well as the athletic league commissioner, and they're demanding action. I guess they want the guy fired, and the guy has been doing the announcing of these games for since the 1970s. So this is, and now he's apologizing, but also Florida A&M, FAMU, Florida A&M, they said, we're really sorry. The remark about Ozempic was inappropriate and offensive. She also stressed it does not represent their values or its respect for the other HBCUs. And so they extended their deepest and sincerest apologies to the Honeybees, a huge apology, ginormous apology, to the Mighty Marching Hornet Honeybees. Wow. I wonder if they're going to make him personally apologize. Or if nothing else, you know what they ought to do, Cassie? I think there's a way to make all of this work out, because I'm all about bringing peace to America. And clearly there's a little friction right now there with the giant dance group, plus-size dance group. So maybe, just maybe, they could, we could facilitate this, Cassie. I think we have a golden corral here. We could get the girls and to get the announcer, and we could have them all around one of the tables, and we could just work this out. Kind of like a détente. I like this idea. All right, I got to take a break here. Ozempic. 901-260-5926 is our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. Who in their right mind thought it was a good idea to attack these young girls out there on the football field? Give me a break. Jeez, Lou. We'll be right back.
About to back up and bring it. You're with Todd Starnes.
When you're working to protect and serve your community and country, you need a degree program that fits into your busy schedule. At Liberty University, you'll find just that. With 100% online program options and no set login times, you can advance your skills without sacrificing your commitments. Plus, we offer exclusive tuition rates and discounts to current and former service members, their spouses, and first responders. Learn more by texting DEGREE to 49595. That's DEGREE to 49595.
In a world where our values are under fire, it's time to stand strong. That's why you should know about Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank is a bank that stands for faith, family, and freedom. A bank that won't cave to cancel culture. Your money, your values. So if you're tired of banks that won't stand up for your values, it's time to switch to Old Glory Bank. Head on over to oldglorybank.com/Starnes and make the change today.
You know, I've tried every diet out there and nothing seems to work. Then I found Calitrin and I'm losing some weight. I've got more energy and I'm finally sleeping better. Elizabeth, this stuff really works.
And, you know, we hear that every day, Todd. I've lost 40 pounds with it, too. And Calitrin is not a drug, a stimulant, so no jitters, no crash. It's just going to work naturally with your body to help support healthy weight loss while you sleep. And it also has side benefits, too.
And that's really what I love. I don't feel like I'm on some sort of a crazy diet or loaded up on caffeine. I take Calitrin before bed, and it does the rest. Elizabeth, it is simple, and it's been life-changing for me.
Yes, and proven for almost 30 years. And right now we've got a special offer. You can try Calitrin risk-free for your listeners and see the results for yourself, and also use that promo code TODD to save on shipping.
Yeah, take it from me, folks. Calitrin delivers. Don't wait another day. Go to toploss.com and get started. Use that promo code TODD. Many college grads are anti-capitalist activists. So if you're a business owner, how do you find new employees who won't destroy your business? Hi, this is Todd Starnes, and that's where Red Balloon comes in. They're America's #1 pro-freedom job board, and they're shaking up the hiring world by focusing on values and mission-aligned talent. Now, there are two ways Red Balloon can help. You can post your job on their national job board. Over 20,000 people visit every week. Or you can hire Red Balloon Recruiter for a more customized talent search. Now, the Recruiter team is really fantastic. They start by learning your workplace culture and writing a custom job posting, and then they source and screen candidates from their national database. Their team conducts first interviews, and you get alerts when they find highly qualified candidates. And Red Balloon delivers these high-quality results at a fraction of traditional corporate recruiter prices. People are saying Red Balloon is a game changer. So check them out today, redballoon.work. Use the promo code STARNS and save $100 on Recruiter.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Smokey the Bear.
Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do.
What you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at smokeybear.com. And remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, don't forget in the break coming up, be sure to head over to ToddStarnes.com and make a donation and join the cause as we support conservative Christian journalism here on the Todd Starnes radio program. Let's go to the phone lines here. New Bern, North Carolina. Ron is on the line, listening to us on the talk station. Hi, Ron. What's going on?
You're making a statement about the requirement that women have the same physical requirements as men. I want to give you an example of something that happened in 1977. At the beginning of our basic officers course for military police, there was 32 people in the class, 7 women, 25 men. And it was a 12-week course, they made the announcement that everyone had to complete a 6-mile run in less than 50 minutes. Well, and the reason was too many people going into airborne were failing out because they weren't in good enough shape for the run. That was the announcement at the beginning of the class. Now, we started running for 12 weeks, and now every week they increased the amount of distance. At the end of the 12 weeks, we had the 6-mile run. Everybody did the 6-mile run. The slowest person, well, during that time, the women would come up and ask the guys to go out and run with them, and we would. But at the completion of the class, everyone completed it except for one woman, and she did it in 50 minutes and 1 second. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This woman tried hard, and we were a little bit upset. And then they called formation, and it just so happened our PT instructor, it was a joint force base, so our PT instructor was a Marine gunnery sergeant. And he said, I'm getting old, and sometimes I forget things. He said, did I announce at the beginning that the women didn't have to complete the 6-mile run? Now,
I've got about 10 seconds here, Ron. So what's get to the bottom line?
Well, what I'm getting at is if you set the standard, women will train and achieve the standard. If you're going in combat, you're right. They need to be in shape.
Yeah, they do. Ron, I hate to do this. We've got it. The computer's going to cut us off, but thank you for that. The question is, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what they're debating right now at the Pentagon, should women serve in combat roles? We're going to take your calls on that coming up. 901-260-5926. Hour 2 coming up next. Hey folks, Todd Starnes here. What's your plan when the smartest investors who never lose pile into gold and silver? They're buying now, watching value climb. Are you okay with missing out, seeing them thrive while you wait? Vault U.S. Gold is the answer. Trusted by pros. They offer gold IRAs to secure your retirement and gold and silver delivered, shipped, and insured to your door. Want to roll over your 401k? Well, their experts make it seamless, honest every step. Why Vault U.S.? Well, they're steady, reliable, no tricks, just value. Gold's hot. Don't regret sitting this out. Call 833-511-GOLD. That's 833-511-4653 or visit vaultusgold.com/Todd for a free investor kit. That's 833-511-GOLD or 833-511-4653 and get your free investor kit. And say Todd Stern sent you. Vault U.S. Gold. Buy smart, win big.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Stern. Stand by for news and commentary next.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GPS for a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code GPS for a $5 bonus.
An elderly man came to my book signing in Waterloo, Iowa the other day. Good people in those parts of the country. The old-timer listens to my radio show every day on KXEL, the 50,000-watt blowtorch in corn country. He told me his wife had recently passed away, and he missed her something awful. The gentleman then handed me a copy of my book and asked if I would autograph it. And he said if it wasn't too much trouble, if I could write his wife's name there in the pages, which I did. We chatted a few more moments, and then I shook his hand, and he went on his way. And as he slowly walked out the door, I noticed that he glanced down at his wife's name in that book, and then he pulled out a handkerchief and wiped away the tears. And this is why I love radio. I love meeting our great listeners, that voice on the airwaves, making the lonely days just a little less lonely. I'm Todd Starnes.
The Todd Starnes Show begins in 4 minutes. The Todd Starnes Show begins in 2 minutes. The Todd Starnes Show begins in 1 minute.
From the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's common sense conservative commentary from Todd Starnes.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Todd Starnes Radio Show. It is great to have you with us today. Hour 2 of the big show underway. As I work to get my headphones together here. Jeez-a-loo. I'm falling apart today, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, we've got a great show lined up for you today. By the way, our telephone number, 901-260-5926. Again, that number, 901-260-5926. So a lot happening as we await the government shutdown, the looming government shutdown. We're going to keep you updated on that. Coming up in just a few moments, we're going to be checking in with our good friend, the senator from Tennessee, Bill Hagerty. He'll be joining us for just a few moments. And again, our number, 901-260-5926. Well, something happened the other day, and I want to share this with you. Sorry, we were trying to exchange headphones here. And now I think we're all settled. Jeez, it's going to be a rough week, folks. What can I say? You know, I did a commentary. Many of you may know that in addition to doing the 3-hour radio show, I also do commentaries. And these are 1-minute commentaries, and they air on a lot of radio stations, both mainstream stations and Christian radio stations. And this earlier today, I recorded the morning commentary, and it's already gone out, and some people are already weighing in on it. And it was based on something that happened when I was visiting Waterloo over the weekend. Our good friend Jeff Stein, and you hear his baritone voice filling in on this program from various occasions. And Jeff is the program director at KXEL, which is the 50,000-watt blowtorch there in Corn Country. I mean, you can hear that thing all over the state. Huge signal. So anyway, we were doing an event, actually 2 events. We had an ice cream social where radio station listeners could show up, and we would just sit down and eat ice cream and shoot the breeze. And then that evening, I spoke to several hundred people at the Republican Party of Black Hawk County, their big America 250 celebration. We just had a great time. By the way, one of the guys seated at my table, he is a big Elvis guy, and does the whole Elvis tribute stuff and does, sponsors, I believe, Elvis impersonator competitions. And the guy sort of bears a striking resemblance to Elvis. Anyway, so you just never know who you're going to meet at these things. And we just had a wonderful time in Waterloo. So many wonderful people. And by the way, if you've been to Iowa, they serve something called a pork tenderloin. And it's basically their version of chicken fried steak. I'm telling you, they'll put like a 1-pound tenderloin and they'll batter it and deep fry it and put it on a bun and make you eat the whole thing. I felt obligated, I mean, win in Rome, as they say, win in Waterloo. So Jeff Stein, one of the most gracious hosts, and he had us all fed and watered the whole 9 yards. So anyway, we're at this ice cream social. It's a very intimate affair, right? It's late in the afternoon, and folks are watching football and doing whatever. So this old timer shows up. This elderly man came to the book signing, and he was eating some ice cream, and he got a copy of the book. And I, as we're having this conversation, he's relaying what's been happening in his life. And the guy told me that his wife had recently passed away and that he just missed her in the most awful way, that he just missed her. And he hands me the book, and he said, "Would you mind autographing the book?" And I said, "I would be honored to." I said, "Who do I make this out to?" And he told me his name. And then he said, "Would it be okay if you add my wife's name to the book?" And I was having a hard time keeping it together then. And I said, of course, I would be so honored to do that. And I did. I wrote both of their names in the book, and we chatted for a few more minutes and shook his hand. And as the guy's walking away, he's glancing down at the book. He opened the book up, and he's glancing down at what I had written. And he pulls out a little handkerchief, and the guy wipes away the tears. And I got to thinking about that whole experience and that encounter. And then I got to thinking about really the past, 10 days when I have been on the road. And when you're on the road, it's not like you're just, I don't do the private jet. I fly commercial, so you meet a lot of people. And when I'm at an event, I have a rule. I want to shake everybody there. I want to shake their hand and have a conversation with them. So you're pretty much talking to people, 16, 17, sometimes 18 hours a day when you're out on the road. And I love every single minute of it. It's exhausting, but I love it. I love it. And I thought it just really about the motley crew that listens to this radio show. And some of you call in, an overwhelming number of the audience, a massive number. They don't call in, and they would never even think to call in. They just are happy to listen to the radio, and they enjoy the show. And I just tell you, it's been a little tough with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and that weighs heavy on your mind. And, it does. It's weighed heavy on my mind. And just as a country, with the attacks on the churches and just the ugliness in the culture, I was just going through a rough spell. So to be out on the road and to really be refreshed and encouraged and blessed, and to see people like this elderly gentleman in Iowa, and I'd never met him before. It was the first time that we've had the opportunity to meet. And it was really a blessing. And I remembered why I love radio. And I'm, when you're out there on the road, and somebody just sent me a text message about this, and Tony sent a note. He said, Todd, it was a great emotional story talking about this thing, and I guess they'd heard the commentary. He said, it's often said my radio family by listeners, right? Listeners call in, they said, this is my radio family. He said, rarely by television viewers. So the point he's making is that TV is it's not an intimate experience. You and I are having a conversation, but you and I, the you is several million people around America right now. We're having a conversation, but for you, it's you and me. That doesn't work in television. It just never has. It doesn't work in podcasting, by the way. But this is the only form of broadcasting where you're able to call in and talk to the host. Now, I go a step further because a lot of hosts, they don't want to take calls from listeners. And I understand, because you want to have control of your show. And if you take a call from a listener, you never know where that conversation is going to go. 1 minute, we're having a deep conversation on, the price of gold or what's happening on Wall Street. And the next minute, we're talking about how to fry up a bologna sandwich. Which is very good, by the way. You wouldn't think so, but it is. So this is why I love radio. And as I was looking back on that experience and watching as people were just, Jeff Stein is like a rock star in Waterloo and Cedar Rapids. It's just a huge radio station. And they just love this guy. And again, this is why I love radio, because I love meeting our radio family, right? And for a lot of people, and I know this because of owning KWAM in Memphis, for a lot of people, this is it. They don't have family, right? A lot of people are, for whatever reason, maybe their spouse died, their loved one died, maybe their kids live in another state, and maybe they don't call every day like they ought to, or maybe they just have no family at all. And for them, these 3 hours on the radio, it's just an opportunity to sit down with a friend. This voice, on the airwaves that makes the lonely days just a little less lonely. And that's why I love doing what we do here. It's not just, and there, after Rush passed, there were so many people that thought they could pick up that torch and carry it. And they didn't understand that Rush was Rush, and he was successful because he was Rush. He wasn't trying to be someone else. I'm not trying to be someone else. A lot of people say, you remind me of Rush, but I'm not Rush. I'm Todd. And I'm pretty comfortable in my own skin and how we do this show. But they never understood that about Rush Limbaugh, that it was about the relationship. That when you talk to Rush, or just when you listen to Rush, you feel like you know the guy, because he was pretty open about stuff. And we try to do that on this program. Sometimes I overshare, and my staff reminds me of that every single day. The team reminds me of that. I'm kind of concerned about my Hollywood story, to be perfectly honest. I think Ben Dieter may have a few good stories. But all that to say, thank you. Thank you for listening to this show, and I hope it means something to you. I love it. I love hearing from you guys. And, whether it's, Miss Janice in New Orleans, or Miss Patty in North Carolina, or our good buddy Joe from LJ, or Connor from Boston. We haven't heard from Connor in a long time. I do think about all of you guys that call in, and those of you that listen. And I do think of us as a great big family. We talk about this big front porch on the radio, and we just have rocking chairs as far as the eye can see. And that's what we do every day. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if you're in New York City or Los Angeles or Houston. It doesn't matter. We're just a radio family, and we're a quirky bunch of folks, and I like that. All right, we got to take a break. We got to pay some bills, and I like doing that too. 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. Just a reminder, for this month, we are beginning a fundraising campaign. We're about to hire some journalists to start writing more conservative Christian content at ToddStarnes.com. And we're needing your support, your partnership, and you can do that by going to our website. You'll see the banner, click on the banner, and you'll be able to donate and help our cause, whether one-time gift or monthly gift, $5, $10, $20, whatever you can give. But we would certainly appreciate your help. We'll be right back, America.
It's Todd Starnes.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code TODD to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT.
From fruits and veggies to fiber and spice, Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Well, I stopped taking it for a while, and then it dawned on me, so I started taking it again. And I don't know, I like it. I mean, I love them. I'm never going to stop taking them. And I've got a friend that's coming over here. I'm giving her a little bit for her to go try.
I love the product. I wouldn't be without it. Ever since I started that product, I remember seeing an ad way back. That's what convinced me. I tried it, and so I've been a believer. Nothing compares with it, so I'm a lifer with it. I'm not going to change.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements today. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set. Don't wait. Now's the time to take action. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
America has a new choice for fair and balanced news. ToddStarnes.com. Journalism you can trust from some of the best reporters and opinion writers in the business. ToddStarnes.com takes you to the front lines of the culture war, defending faith, freedom, and your family. ToddStarnes.com also features exclusive interviews with America's top newsmakers like Mike Huckabee, Franklin Graham, and Newt Gingrich. Find out why millions of Americans read ToddStarnes.com every day. It's news you can trust. ToddStarnes.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a 70-year-old man. I'm not a young guy, and I'm an ex-athlete. Well, yeah, when I was taking it, I recognized that I was feeling better. You know what I'm saying? And just mentally knowing is important also.
I am a customer of you guys. I love your product. Love it, love it. Nothing but good things to say about your product. I love it. And as long as y'all are going to sell it, I'm going to take it as long as I can.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code TODD to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. Talk to someone if you're struggling with mental health, because most people out here really care. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
All right, coming up, our good buddy Steve Gill from Nashville joins us. We'll go through the very latest on the looming government shutdown. Also, Kelly Shackelford, who is the president of First Liberty Institute, he also serves on President Trump's Religious Liberty Commission. They've been hearing from a lot of teachers and coaches regarding threats to religious liberty on our university campuses. So we're going to pay close attention to that conversation as well. You know, we were very concerned about the Mormon Church that was the target of the domestic terrorist over the weekend, and had a conversation with our good buddy Ryan Helfenbein from Liberty University. Let's take a listen to that last night on Newsmax. You heard the president's comments. There are people of faith under attack in America.
There is no question that is absolutely true. It doesn't matter what sect or what denomination you herald from. Ultimately, we do see there is persecution in America. Lest we forget, this is coming on the heels of Charlie Kirk's assassination. And he wasn't just politically assassinated. He was assassinated because of his Christian beliefs. That's why he went into the public square. That's why he took the stance he did. Look, this fire in Michigan, this shooting in Michigan, it is reprehensible. It is absolutely evil incarnate that we're seeing this kind of hatred, this kind of animosity towards people of faith. It doesn't matter if you're LDS or Southern Baptist. It doesn't matter, Todd. We are seeing a war on Christianity. We're seeing a war on the church. We're seeing war on religious liberty in the United States. And people of faith had better step up, speak up, and be loud about this so that those that represent us in Washington do something about it.
Ryan, over the summer, there was a similar incident, again, in Michigan, where a guy tried to ram a church. with his vehicle, and he was stopped. Fortunately, they had armed security. You know, a lot of these churches are considered gun-free zones. How important is it for churches across America to really reconsider their security?
You know, I do believe that the first line of defense is what happens and takes place in local churches. Many local churches have security teams. They have armed professionals who are there, who are willing and able to assist in the case of an emergency. But not every church, Todd, has that ability. They don't all have the funding or the budget in order to pay for that private security. So other measures need to be taken place, of course, as well. You know, it's sad that we live in a day and an age where people who go to worship on a Sunday morning have to worry about concealed carry to go to a house of worship. But that's where we are in the United States in 2025. But it is also why we have the Second Amendment. And I do believe I'm a strong proponent of 2A freedoms.
Yeah, gun-toting and Bible-clinging, no doubt. Ryan, though, I want to go back to the overall story here, the overarching story, which is really what is going on in our culture right now. Hundreds of Catholic churches across this country have come under attack. They seem to really be taking the brunt of a lot of this violence. What's going on out there?
Yeah, so I think that what we're seeing is that the middle in America is disappearing. We have disparate viewpoints. We have worldview and ideological clashes happening in America right now. It is the right versus the left. There is a vitriol against people of faith. We see it fomented in the media, whether it goes back to the pandemic or the Floyd riots, all of those things. Oftentimes people point to people of faith, particularly Christianity, as the culprit for all the hatred in society. They're the reasons why we're having so many problems in America. At least the left and the media has been pushing that false narrative. And that is why many church houses, and whether it be Catholic churches, Baptist churches, or the Latter-day Saints, they have been targeted as a result. And I'm even thinking more recently in Virginia, this was after the Dobbs decision was handed down. There were many places, Christian crisis pregnancy centers, that were also targeted as a result of that, of the overturning of Roe versus Wade. You see it in the media. The media is stirring this up, this animus towards Christians in our country. Evil has taken its mask off in America, and it's time for people of righteousness to stand up.
All right, that was our conversation with Ryan Helfenbein last night on Newsmax. Speaking of that, our good buddy Pastor Lucas Miles wrote a new book called Pagan Threat, and Charlie wrote the foreword to this book, Pagan Threat. Charlie said that you got to read it, you got to internalize it, and you got to share this book. He literally, it was the last thing that Charlie wrote, and this before the assassination. He wrote the foreword to Pagan Threat. It's already a #1 Amazon bestseller, and it's available wherever books are sold. You can also get Pagan Threat free with Newsmax's special offer. You're going to be able to save $30. Go to paganthreat.com. That's paganthreat.com, and check it out. Read Charlie's final words to America, paganthreat.com. We'll be right back, everybody.
Mama, what does the chicken say?
Chicken. Oh, okay.
When the wolf?
Oh, a wolf.
Ooh! What about the tiny dog? Cat. Owl. Dolphin? What does the turkey say? Whale.
Whale sound.
Do the giraffe.
Giraffe, really?
Okay. Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 844-43-BIBLE. That's 844-43-BIBLE. 844-43-BIBLE.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, midnight. The clock is ticking, and it looks as though both sides are dug in pretty tight. I want to go to the Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line, bring into the conversation the publisher of TriStarDaily.com, Steve Gill. Steve, good to have you with us. I don't think the Republicans are going to blink here, and I'm not sure the Democrats. Do you think the Democrats are going to go ahead and shut down the government?
I think absolutely. And again, what we've been seeing, Todd, time and time again, is when it's an 80-20 issue, 85-15, they take the low end of the poll number and double and triple and quadruple down, whether it's men and women's locker rooms, whether it's fighting for criminals on the streets of Washington, D.C., rather than law enforcement. And you're seeing the same thing now. They would rather shut down the government rather than agree to not fund health care for illegal immigrants. And it's not only to not fund it, they want another $500 billion to pay for health care for illegals. And I don't think the Republicans are going to make, and if the Republicans continue to successfully make that the issue, the Democrats are shutting down the government in order to force payment of care for illegals. Republicans win. The question is, can they get this effectively and significantly enough to
Steve, I hate to jump in here, but we have a horrible phone connection, so we're going to try to reestablish contact with Steve here. In the meantime, I want to pivot just briefly, and I want to go to an interview that we just did with Senator Bill Hagerty, the senator from Tennessee, and here's what he had to say about the government shutdown. Senator, hope you're doing well.
Todd, it's always good to be with you. Thanks very much for having me this morning.
Senator, the clock is ticking, and we're looking at a looming government shutdown. But I think it's important to remind everybody this is all on the Democrats, and I'm curious. I know there were a lot of meetings yesterday. Where do things stand right now with the looming shutdown?
I think we're going to have the votes tonight, but if we're not there, the government shuts down the 30th at midnight. So we're headed right toward it. Here's why we're here, though, Todd, and I don't think this is getting enough coverage. The Democrats, ever since President Trump won the election and took office, have been on their maximum resistance campaign. Let me put it into perspective. We have been trying to help President Trump put his cabinet into place. If you go back to Bill Clinton, 98% of the nominees that he put forward were immediately confirmed through a process in the Senate called consent. A normal process. That number dropped down to 90% in Barack Obama's administration. Today, we are at 0%. Chuck Schumer has implemented the maximum procedural delays he possibly can. It's called cloture. They did it to me, Todd, when I was nominated to be U.S. ambassador to Japan in President Trump's first administration. That tied up the Senate for 30 hours of debate on my nomination as U.S. ambassador to Japan. It was not controversial. 88 votes at the end of the day for me. They just used it to slow us down. I was 4 months late getting to my post as a result of what Chuck Schumer did then. Now he's implementing it on everyone. And he's not allowed us, therefore, to put the appropriation bills on the floor. We've already got 3 done. There are a dozen that need to be done. We're pretty close. All they need to do is vote like they have in the past to continue the Biden-era budget they've already voted for, to give us another several weeks to get this completed and finalized. But rather than do that, it's resist Trump at all costs. It's fight Trump. That seems to be the mantra, no matter what the cost will be to the United States.
And that's the problem, because, and we've seen this over and over again, and I know it frustrates a lot of Republicans when you guys, approve and sign off on all the Democrat nominees. And there's a thought pattern to all of this. And we've heard this from other Republican senators in the past, is that, well, the sitting president deserves the people. He got elected. He deserves, or she deserves, the people that they want for their administration, unless they're, far left wackadoodles. I get that. But the reality is the Democrats don't return that level, that measure of respect when it comes to Republican presidents.
It's amazing. It's always Democrats always try to seek a new low. And again, they've done it here yet again. And I think Chuck Schumer finds himself in a very difficult situation, though, Todd. On the one hand, he's got what they call a clean continuation for several more weeks to continue the negotiations. He's voted for that in the past. It's a bill. This is a budget that was passed under Biden. He's going to vote against that, making completely unrealistic demands, another $1 trillion worth of unrealistic expenditures, because this is the other side of the argument. AOC and the far left of his party criticized him heavily for not standing up to Trump. He doesn't want to be perceived as taking a knee to Trump or bowing to Trump in any way. So this is more or less a test of his manhood, which I think is ridiculous. But I hope he can prove himself larger than this today. But every indication is that he's going to just shut it down to prove that AOC and the far left don't have anything on him, and that he's as much of a Trump fighter as they are. even though they have no strategy and their popularity is going to continue to wane. And Todd, you may have seen the memo that Russ Vought put out regarding layoffs that will occur if this happens.
Yes.
So I think the Democrats will have that on their hands as well, and it might warrant maybe just a little bit of an explanation. I think we all know that there's a lot of bloat in government. We also know that there have been a lot of resistance, legal resistance, HR law resistance to allowing President Trump to go through and clean house, get rid of wasteful programs that we shouldn't be doing. You think about the fights and the arguments that we've had. Well, Russ Vought has instructed every agency head, every department to go through and find all of those programs that are questionable, that probably would wind up on the cutting block if they were in a private corporation. Let's go ahead and enumerate all of those. And when we go into shutdown, the president has inordinate power to eliminate positions. We're out of cash at that point. He'll determine some of them essential, but those that are not, it's certainly within his power to go ahead and do the elimination. So Chuck Schumer will have this on his hands too.
And
he's
Senator,
accelerate.
Yeah, let me jump in there on that note, because my understanding is that those jobs could be completely eliminated. So if the Democrats are really playing with fire here, because a lot of their constituents could be out of jobs after midnight tonight.
Todd, don't you think this is just illustrates the genius of Donald Trump's negotiating ability? He wins either way.
It's brilliant.
If he keeps the government open, we can continue to negotiate. That's the preferred line of movement here. But if Schumer decides to throw his temper tantrum, Trump has said, okay, fine, go ahead and do it. Then I'm going to start exercising the powers that I wanted to exercise from the very beginning and start really chopping some of this dead wood out of the U.S. government.
And my favorite, the headline today, and it just cracks me up because the left thinks this is like going to scare all of us. There are about 100,000 federal workers, and the rumors are they're set to formally quit working for the U.S. government if, in fact, there's a shutdown. It's like, okay, good luck to you.
Well, I think we all saw what happened post-COVID. All these people, quote, working from home, nobody knew the difference. It really is a shame, and I think there's a tremendous amount of bloat. They would never, there are some government workers that are doing fantastic jobs. I think about our law enforcement, what we want to see, in Memphis. I've talked to the governor, by the way, about this. National Guard will continue to be paid by the state. We'll figure out how to reimburse them later. But if you think about some of these programs that these agencies that most Americans never even heard of that are going overseas, you name it, and some of these programs are just frankly quite embarrassing when you find out what we've been funding. It's time for all that stuff to go. And if Chuck Schumer wants to go ahead and accelerate it, I think President Trump is more than ready to take him up on it.
Let's talk about Memphis, Senator. And I know the entire city, our phones have been lighting up here at the radio station. People are so excited to see the National Guard, this increase in law enforcement. I've been traveling the country for the past week. And when I came back, people were literally doing 55 miles an hour on I-240, which is a miracle from on high. But how important is it for the president to send in the National Guard? And what when can we expect to see boots on the ground? That's the big question. People are wondering when the Guard will actually be here.
Well, Todd, let me give you the backstory for just a couple of minutes, because this is deeply personal to me. I'm from Middle Tennessee. Since I was a boy, my parents wouldn't even let me go to visit friends in Memphis when I was a kid because they're worried about my personal safety. This has been an issue for a long time. We can't ignore it any longer. And in November, after we won the election, I knew that I would have the gavel on the Appropriations Committee and that President Trump would be in the White House. I went to Mayor Paul Young, the mayor of Memphis, and said, Paul, we have a chance to actually make a real difference here if we can find a way to work together. And through a number of discussions, and also with Sheriff Bonner, with Police Chief Davis, we've had a number of discussions. My staff started working with them in earnest. I went to Kash Patel in December of 2024, Pam Bondi in January. We agreed to put together a strike force to be very quiet about it, because why would you warn the criminals are coming? And that strike force ended its operations about 2.5 weeks ago. We nabbed over 500 of the hardest core criminals in the Memphis area. They are being charged federally, over 100 federal indictments, well over 100 federal indictments and growing. And when I say charged federally, that means they're going to Leavenworth. They're not going to the Shelby County Jail. They're going to Leavenworth. So we are going to see, we've already seen massive, cooperation, well-effective cooperation. President Trump saw that and he said, okay, you're going to get the full menu. That means 16 agencies will be arriving in Memphis this week. That includes the National Guard. The National Guard will be the most visible, but I'm talking about alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, DEA. The IRS will be there, Todd, because every one of these criminal gangs has illicit revenue streams. Those illicit revenue streams, this is how we call it Al Capone. Those violate federal laws. These people are going to federal penitentiary. We need it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance to fix it, and the governor and I both pledged to the mayor that we'll do everything we can to put the necessary long-term resources in place. I serve on the Appropriations Committee here for federal resources. Governor Lee has said he'll do the same at the state level. We're going to put in place the resources so that we can bridge the gap in law enforcement in Memphis and make this sustainable for the long term.
I'm just curious, and President Trump appears regularly here on KWAM, and he announced on the radio that he was not aware of how bad things were here, and he would look into it and would consider moving Memphis to the top of the list, which he did.
Yeah,
do we know?
I heard that interview, Todd. It was great.
Senator, do we know why the governor didn't send in? Why did we have to wait for President Trump to take action? Why didn't the governor? I mean, he sees. I mean, he's here in the state. Do we know why the governor didn't send in the National Guard beforehand?
Actually, the governor has been involved at this from early on as well. I invited Kash Patel to come to Nashville in March of this year and invited Governor Lee and Senator Blackburn to join that meeting. From the outset, when he heard what we were thinking about doing, Governor Lee has been supportive. It really has been a matter of making certain that we cooperate closely with the federal activity. You don't want to announce the National Guard or anything else while we did our strike force. Again, that needed to be quiet. We worked in coordination with TBI and, again, a big FBI bump up, a big DEA resource bump
and that
up
makes
to get
sense.
that done, this 500.
Yeah. And that makes, I get that.
All well coordinated. So Governor Lee was right there in the Oval Office with me when the announcement was made. That we're going to bring in now the broad menu of federal resources, but he's been on this.
And you real quick here, I've got about 90 seconds. I know Senator Brent Taylor, State Senator Brent Taylor, is up on Capitol Hill going to testify before Senate Judiciary today. I think it does me proud to see people caring about our city. And I want us to be that gleaming, I want us to see the skyscrapers and the growth and people coming back to the Mid-South. And Senator, I mean, when you look at Memphis, we really do matter, not just to the Mid-South, but really the entire nation.
And that's absolutely true, Todd. Memphis is a great city. It has so much potential, and there's a lot happening. That's very positive. This is going to allow us to secure the place that Memphis deserves. It needs to be one of the safest cities in America. I want to commend the mayor who's been willing to work across the aisle. And my conversations with him have been very simple, Todd. I think you'll agree. I don't care whether you have an R or a D behind your name. A government servant's basic responsibility is to provide for public safety. That should not be a partisan issue. And we're here to demonstrate that. It's working. And I'm looking forward to seeing Memphis turn into the safest city in America. And I'm going to make certain the resources are there in the long range so that we can sustain that.
From the front lines of the culture wars, it's Todd Starnes.
From director Sean McNamara comes Soul on Fire, based on a true story.
They said you had no chance, but here you are.
Starring Joel Courtney, John Corbett, Stephanie Shostak, Macy McLean, with Devon Franklin and William H. Macy.
If you focus exactly on loving the life that you're living right now, and not the life that you think you could have had or should have had, that's the whole deal right there.
Soul on Fire, rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. In theaters October 10th. For tickets, go to soulonfiremovie.com.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. You know, Mike has a passion to help everybody get the best sleep of their life, and he didn't stop by creating the best pillow. He also created the best bed sheets ever. Mike is offering the best deal on his Percale bed sheets. You can get a set for as low as $24.98. The MyPillow Percale bed sheets are breathable and have a cool, crisp feel. They have deep pockets to fit over any mattress. They look great, they feel great, and that means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Also, for a limited time, when you order over $100 worth of merch, you're going to get $100 in free digital gifts. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code STARNS to receive the MyPillow Percale sheets for as low as $24.98. Order now or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS. That's 800-839-8506. Use promo code STARNS.
In a world where our values are under fire, it's time to stand strong. That's why you should know about Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank is a bank that stands for faith, family, and freedom. A bank that won't cave to cancel culture. Your money, your values. So if you're tired of banks that won't stand up for your values, it's time to switch to Old Glory Bank. Head on over to oldglorybank.com/Starnes and make the change today.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. You know, Mike has a passion to help everybody get the best sleep of their life. And he didn't stop by creating the best pillow. He also created the best bed sheets ever. Mike is offering the best deal on his Percale bed sheets. You can get a set for as low as $24.98. The MyPillow Percale bed sheets are breathable and have a cool, crisp feel. They have deep pockets to fit over any mattress. They look great, they feel great, and that means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Also, for a limited time, when you order over $100 worth of merch, you're going to get $100 in free digital gifts. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code STARNS to receive the MyPillow Percale sheets for as low as $24.98. Order now or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS. That's 800-839-8506. Use promo code STARNS.
Get hurt in the game? We tough it out. Feel exhausted? We push on. Feeling down? We pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. But there are times when bootstraps aren't enough. When stress gets to us and we need to talk to someone about what we're really going through. So we're going to reach out because sometimes mental health is not a one-person job. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
All right, we've reestablished contact with Steve Gill. So, Steve, you've covered politics a long time here. What do you think the Democrats do?
You know, as I was mentioning before we got cut off, they double down. That's what they've been doing every time they take a bottom side of an 80-20 issue or 85-15. They double and triple down, whether it's, men and women's locker rooms, whether it's, fighting for criminals on the streets of D.C. or Memphis rather than supporting law enforcement. So they are going to go to the mat to support not just defending spending money on illegals for health care, but spending $500 billion of taxpayer money to provide health care for illegal aliens. They're going to double down on it. If the White House and the Republicans can make that issue understandable to the public, the Democrats will lose and lose badly. But the media is not going to help get that message out.
Well, look, it's we know how this is all going to go down, and everybody's going to blame the Republicans, but I think they just have to stand their ground and get the messaging out, and it has to be very clear that the Republicans are not going to allow tax dollars to be used to pay for illegal alien health care.
Well, and it's keep it simple, stupid. And again, my boys, when they were younger, would say, Dad, you can't use the S word, stupid. But you've got to keep it simple and just keep repeating the message that the Democrats are willing to shut down the government, fire people, shut down services to taxpayers in order to provide health care for illegal aliens. And everybody's got to be on the same page of the playbook. Everybody's got to repeat that until we feel like our mouths are dry and our ears are bleeding. But that's how you get a message out. And that's how disciplined Democrats are in telling their lies. We have to be that disciplined in telling the truth.
Steve Gill, the publisher of TristarDaily.com, joining us on the Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line today. Steve, real quick here, National Guard being dispatched to major cities across the nation, not just here in Tennessee, but also other cities as well. How do you think that's going to play out with the general public?
I think, again, it's the visuals, it's the images, and if it looks like an occupation, then that visual will, I think, cause some harm to what they're actually there to do. Now, a lot of what these National Guardsmen are there to do is to do the paperwork, do the things that free up police officers in Memphis to be on the streets enforcing the law. Now, their presence is going to have an impact, but a lot of these National Guardsmen are men and women who are accountants and lawyers and business folks who can help with the paperwork that occupies the time of police officers rather than them being on the streets enforcing the laws. And then the second piece is to make sure that judges in Memphis enforce the law when criminals and thugs are brought before them, and they've had an abysmal record of doing that. The National Guardsmen can't fix that, but again, if the imagery and the visuals and the results are what we've seen in Washington, D.C., this will prove to be another big win, not just for President Trump, not just for the Republicans, but for the citizens of Memphis, who will have safer streets, less criminal activity, and less harm to the citizens of Memphis. It's a big win, not just politically, but for the people who live in Memphis if this works like it has in Washington.
All right, I got about 30 seconds, sir. I want you to weigh in on this academy in Nashville, Lipscomb Academy, private Christian school. What the heck's going on here? They're punishing the kids, targeting the kids for supporting Charlie Kirk?
Todd, I'm getting so sick of, quote, Christian schools, Christian universities being small C Christian. It's time to capitalize the C, kind of like in Charlie Kirk, and get back to Christ-oriented treatment of not just the students, but the Christian so-called universities and schools, and Lipscomb has abandoned that.
Wow, it's just unbelievable. I know you guys are all over that story. Just insane. Steve, we got to leave it there. Sorry about the phone issues, but great to get your reaction. And, of course, it's going to be a wild few hours here, folks, as we move towards the midnight deadline. Steve Gill from TristarDaily.com. Got to read Steve's work. He does a great job. Hang tight, everybody. Got to take a quick break. This is the Todd Starnes Show. Hey, Patriots, Todd Starnes here with big news. Trump's fighting for our country to get it back on the right track, battling China, who's likely dumping treasuries to sink the dollar, and facing tariffs that are having a sharp bite on the stock market. Now, Trump is playing the long game for America, putting Americans first. But like hard work, there's always going to be some pain. So you've got to play smart, too. Secure your hard-earned savings and retirement with Vault U.S. Gold. Their IRS-approved gold IRAs let you roll over your IRA or 401k with a no-commission pros. Safe, simple, tax-smart, protecting your future. Want it in hand? Well, their direct delivery program ships insured gold and silver to your door, offering privacy, yours to store securely. Real assets that you can hold and touch for tough times. Call 833-511-GOLD. That's 833-511-4653 or visit vaultusgold.com/Todd Starnes for your free investor kit. And tell them Todd sent you, and don't go unprotected.
You can't escape a traffic jam. Know what else you can't escape? Seasonal allergies. And you might think you can avoid that coffee stain until... Oh, really? You can't escape a lot of things in life, but you can escape prediabetes. Prediabetes captures 1 in 3 adults. There are usually no signs of prediabetes. In fact, most people don't even know they have it. But with early diagnosis, you can change the outcome and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Take action by taking the 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. You might not be able to escape having this song stuck in your head, but you can escape prediabetes. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Starnes. Stand by for news and commentary next.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute, does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GPS for a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code GPS for a $5 bonus.
An elderly man came to my book signing in Waterloo, Iowa the other day. Good people in those parts of the country. The old-timer listens to my radio show every day on KXEL, the 50,000-watt blowtorch in corn country. He told me his wife had recently passed away, and he missed her something awful. The gentleman then handed me a copy of my book and asked if I would autograph it. And he said if it wasn't too much trouble, if I could write his wife's name there in the pages, which I did. We chatted a few more moments, and then I shook his hand, and he went on his way. And as he slowly walked out the door, I noticed that he glanced down at his wife's name in that book, and then he pulled out a handkerchief and wiped away the tears. And this is why I love radio. I love meeting our great listeners, that voice on the airwaves, making the lonely days just a little less lonely. I'm Todd Starnes.
The Todd Starnes Show begins in 4 minutes. The Todd Starnes Show begins in 2 minutes. The Todd Starnes Show begins in 1 minute.
From the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's America's conservative blowtorch.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
Todd Starnes.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Todd Starnes Radio Show. Trust you are doing well today. We have got just a lot going on, just a lot of busy news happening. And I was just texting Dylan, who normally runs the board, and the lovely Miss Cassie is manning the ship right now as Dylan is out at our tower site. And Cassie, I don't know what's going on out there, but I got a text message: bobcats and rattlesnakes. That does not sound good.
I'm glad it's Dylan out there and not me.
I hope I hope we sent him with a snake bite kit. So we'll check in with him in just a little while. Folks, we are excited this hour. We've got a very busy program ahead of you. For you, by the way, Kelly Shackelford from First Liberty Institute is going to drop by as well. But right now, I am so excited to be talking with our next guest. His name is Jason Cousins. He is the founder and chief executive officer of Glint, one of our new sponsors. And by the way, the website, glintpay.com. That's GLINT pay.com. And Jason, first, hope you're doing well, and welcome to the show.
Well, listen, it's great to be on the show. Thanks for inviting me.
Jason, I am so excited about Glint Pay. I think this is a tremendous and such a clever idea. And I want you to tell our listeners, first of all, before we get, I got a lot of questions about gold hitting record highs, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. But you got to tell our listeners about the awesomeness of Glint Pay.
Well, listen, it's not just rattlesnakes that are not good news. I mean, ever since I had the idea for Glint Pay back in 2008, I'm guessing you and your readers remember 2008, the financial crisis. Our fiat currency, our dollars, are becoming worthless. I mean, gold's just hit $3,848 an ounce today. I mean, that's up 33% this year, and it went up 44% last year. Or should I say, your dollars in your accounts have gone down 33% this year, and they've gone down 44% last year. So, money just depreciates in ways completely outside of your control. And this is what I realized in 2008 when, of course, we came to the brink of the whole financial system collapsing. I realized there was no money in the bank. It's fractional reserve banking, they call it. They lend all the money out. In fact, they're able to print 5 times as much money as they've actually got deposited. And that money becomes worthless over time as they print more money. And so that's when I learned that gold was the ultimate store of value, that it doesn't diminish. It's created when 2 neutron stars collide. It's God's money, so to speak. And of course, it's been money for thousands of years. It still buys you what it did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2,000 years ago. And I thought, well, hang on. If we can't rely on our central banks or our governments to do anything about this fiat currency that's depreciating so much, and by the way, it can only do that since the U.S. came off the gold standard in 1971, and now, of course, your money's not backed by anything. I thought, well, why don't we enable everyone to have their own personal gold standard? Why don't we enable people to be able to buy any amount of gold they want, as little as 1 cent, or millions of dollars if they've got that money, to be able to save it in a secure vault that's insured, and to be able to spend it when they need to, as easy as sending a text or using a MasterCard, just like any other form of currency. And so that's what we've built with Glint Pay. We've been in the U.S. now over 6 years. We're the supplier to one of the U.S. states. We've got hundreds of thousands of registered users, and we're very, very happy to be able to offer this sound money solution to people of the U.S.
I love this idea, and it's basically a prepaid debit card that you guys have, and you can literally use your gold to buy coffee. If you're at the grocery store, you can use it to buy your groceries, or if you're even booking an airline flight, you can actually use gold to purchase all of those things.
Yeah, I mean, gold should be as a form of money you should be able to save and also spend. And so when you need to spend, whether it's a medical emergency, whether it's, when you need to pay for those school fees for your grandchildren or your children, or whether, as you say, just for a coffee, or even at 35,000 feet in an American Airlines airplane to pay for the Wi-Fi, you can now use gold as a currency.
This is brilliant. I just love this. Now, and explain this, because my understanding is the cryptocurrencies, for example, they're backed by gold, right? But you don't actually own the gold directly. That's not the case here with the Glint card.
Yeah, I mean, listen, with most cryptocurrencies, they're not backed by anything. And even if there's a stable coin that's backed by something, you own the token, you don't own the actual underlying gold. It's the same with an ETF that the financial advisors will often sell you. That's that you own a share in a fund that may be backed by gold. With Glint, you own that actual gold. You own a fraction of a big solid gold bar, a kilo or a 12.5 ounce or gold bar. You own that gold. It's not ours. It's not anyone else's to touch. It can't be lent out. It's yours to keep.
So, folks, if you want information, and by the way, they have an awesome app as well, so you can get the app. And when you order, be sure to use my code TODD, TODD, and go check it out. It's really very clever, and I think this is just really a brilliant business strategy as well when you're looking at, again, the credit cards and all the other things out there. This just makes a lot of sense, Jason.
Yes, listen, unfortunately, we're seeing the U.S. dollar being devalued, I think on purpose by this administration in order to encourage exports. As you know, Trump is trying to rebuild industry in the U.S. It's a positive strategy, but it means that gold is going to be, many people believe, going up and up and up. Morgan Stanley just came out and said that everybody should be putting 20% of their assets into gold. But of course, the gold price can go down as well as up, but it tends to go up more often than it doesn't.
And I love this. Before we get back to the record gold prices here, going back to this app, this is fascinating. The number of people that are actually using the app now, the number of users, y'all are almost on your way to 250,000 registered Glint users. I mean, these are some pretty impressive numbers, Jason.
Yeah, listen, thank you. And we're also heading, I think we're over $320 million of gold on the platform. And of course, this is all going to be accelerating once constitutional or state-authorized gold currency comes into effect in many states towards the end of this year, beginning of next. I think you might have talked about on the show before, but you don't have to wait for that. You can get yourself onto your own personal gold standard right now.
And back to gold, of course, the breaking news today is gold hitting a record high, over $3,600 an ounce, and that's because of the Fed rate cut. So what do we do with that intel?
Well, listen, I as I said before, I think this is a systemic change. Government, central banks, the world over, is deciding to do something different with the reserves they hold in their banks. Gold has just overtaken the euro to be the second reserve currency of the world, i.e., governments and central banks out there, when they're saving money, they do that with dollars, and they also now do it with gold more than they do any other currency. And this is driving a huge demand for gold. Businesses, of course, are doing the same thing. Gold has just taken U.S. treasuries as a store of value by these central banks, large institutions and businesses. But of course, it's not just the rich now who can do this. It's every ordinary American can also do this too with Glint.
Absolutely. And glintpay.com, ladies and gentlemen, you can get the app and you can just, again, start spending as soon as you get your card. I mean, it's pretty exciting here. Jason, real quick here before we let you go, you talk a lot about the de-dollarization of America. What do you mean by that?
Well, listen, since you came off the gold standard, America's had this exorbitant privilege of being able to print as much money as it wanted and therefore build up as much debt as it wanted. And that's really benefited America. You've been able to build and create so much wonderful stuff. But unfortunately now at $37 trillion of debt, the world is saying, actually, we're not so sure we want to buy U.S. debt anymore. And so they're starting to look at other things to buy. They're looking to save in, for instance, gold, now the second most reserve currency in the world. And of course, I think the current administration are quite happy about that. The party's over with the raising of more and more debt, and now they need to move to an export economy, and that's why President Trump is bringing back, industry to America. And, of course, a weaker dollar means that exports are going to be more attractive to the rest of the world. So that's the strategy that's happening. Gold is on a tear, and I think it's a systemic change. It's here to continue. So I think that if you don't get on top of this, you've got to consider if your dollars in gold terms went down 44% last year, and they've already gone down 35% this year, how long are you prepared to wait? And with Glint Pay, I wish I didn't have to build it, Todd, but I feel like it's a vocation. We had to come up with a solution to give people a glint of hope. That's why we called it Glint.
Glint, glintpay.com, ladies and gentlemen. Download the app. And Jason, I'm just curious from the numbers, the thousands and thousands of people that are now using Glint Pay, has there been a common theme in the response from people using the card?
Well, listen, we're very fortunate to have great responses for our customers. I think the ratings, the stars that we get on various things like the App Store and the Trustpilot is 4.5 out of 5 or 4.8 out of 5. And what I'm really privileged to experience is that people generally love what we're doing, because this isn't just a product. This is a movement. This is about people putting their hard-earned money somewhere safe. It's about giving them something reliable for them, for their children, their loved ones, their family, and the people that they work with. And I just want to add, by the way, that if you do download the Glint Pay app for a limited time, we're going to be anybody who types in Todd into the referral code when they start registering on the app, we're going to send you a free Glint debit card, which is normally cost you about $10 to get delivered.
So it's a pretty good deal, folks. So again, glintpay.com, you'll be able to see the little button there, download the app, and it takes literally 5 seconds, if that. And then you can go through the registration process. So it's you guys made it super simple.
Well, we try to make it simple. If anyone's got any feedback, please reach out to us. We've also tried to make it very efficient, Todd. So we use the power of technology and the fact we can service all of these hundreds of thousands of people. We try to use that to the benefit of you, the customer. So our fees are very low. Instead of paying 5 or 6% to buy a gold bar or coin, we only charge 0.9% for the gold or the silver. We only charge 0.02% to have this stored in the secure vaults and insured. So we try to keep the prices and the fees very low because we want it to be an efficient and effective and reliable currency for the world.
I love this. All right, Jason, we got to leave it there. We are super late for a break, but glintpay.com, ladies and gentlemen, is the website. glintpay.com. Use that code Todd, and you're going to get the card free, and that is as of today. So be sure to get that taken care of in the break. Jason, we can't wait to get you back on. I just love what you guys are doing, and this is so incredibly creative.
Thank you, Todd.
All right, Jason Cousins, everybody, the founder and CEO of Glint. And what better way, when we talk about the de-dollarization of America, what better way to do that than having your own gold that you can use to purchase things here in the United States, whether it be at the grocery store, your drugstore, or wherever, with your awesome Glint Pay Gold card. So again, go check it out and use that code Todd, and they'll get you started. Got to take a break. We'll be right back.
You're with Todd Starnes.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code Todd to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. You know, Mike has a passion to help everybody get the best sleep of their life. And he didn't stop by creating the best pillow. He also created the best bed sheets ever. Mike is offering the best deal on his Percale bed sheets. You can get a set for as low as $24.98. The MyPillow Percale bed sheets are breathable and have a cool, crisp feel. They have deep pockets to fit over any mattress. They look great, they feel great, and that means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Also, for a limited time, when you order over $100 worth of merch, you're going to get $100 in free digital gifts. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code STARNS to receive the MyPillow Percale sheets for as low as $24.98. Order now or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS. That's 800-839-8506. Use promo code STARNS.
Everyone's goals for advancing their education look different. At Liberty University, we've helped thousands of students like you earn their dream degree. So no matter what your goal is, we can help you get there. With over 450 degrees from the associate to the doctoral level to choose from, most of which are 100% online, you'll find what you need to succeed. To discover which degree might be the best fit for you, text degree to 49595. That's degree to 49595.
We are living in dangerous and unstable times. Hello, everybody. I'm Todd Stearns. Pandemics, international insecurity, shortages, supply chain disruptions, and an economy on the brink. We know we can't simply trust the government to protect us. Now more than ever, everyone needs to be prepared. And being prepared is more than just stockpiling ammo, food, and supplies. Being prepared should also include stockpiling critical prescription medications. And that's where my friends at the Wellness Company come in. Their medical emergency kit contains the prescriptions, antibiotics, antivirals, and antiparasitics that you need to keep you and your family safe, from anthrax to tick bites to COVID and even to a bioweapon like the plague. The Wellness Company's medical emergency kit is exactly what you need to have on hand to be prepared. Go to twc.health/Starnes today and order. That's twc.health/Starnes. Use the promo code STARNS and you're going to save an extra 10%.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said,
if it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code TODD to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Cassie, during the break, you know what I was doing? I was downloading the Glint app, and this is pretty awesome. So, and by the way, people are like, Todd, I don't have $25,000. You don't need $25,000. You can buy as much or as little gold as you want. And when you go to the market, you can use that instead of your dollars, your cash. you're buying gold, and so you're going to get a bigger bang for the buck. This is pretty awesome. I literally have it on my smartphone right here, and I was able to make a purchase of gold. No, Cassie, I'm not telling you how much, but it was good. I got a good amount of gold. I'll be able, and the reason why is I got to take the Cadillac in to get the oil changed and the tires rotated. So I'm going to pay with my Glint card. This is pretty awesome. GlintPay.com. Use my first name, Todd, Todd, and they're going to send you the card free of charge. It is worth checking out. It's just kind of cool because, again, the challenge is, right, Cassie, how do you carry around? You don't want to carry around a big old bar of gold. What are they going to do, shave some off to pay for your bubble gum? No, that's weird, and it's impossible. But so anyway, GlintPay.com, and go and check them out. 901-260-5926 is our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. Just moments ago, Senator Josh Hawley had a bit of a rowdy dow with a former member of the Biden administration, again, talking about their efforts to defund the police. Let's take a listen.
This is so typical of what the Democrats do now. After your policies have transparently failed and led to the deaths of millions of Americans, now you say you've never heard of defunding the police. Your own report recommends it on page after page after page. Let me ask you about something else you say. Here's what you say we ought to invest in. Instead of funding the police, here's what we ought to invest in. We need to invest in programs that acknowledge the need for safe space initiatives led by lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender nonconforming people. What's two-spirit?
Well, look, I don't know exactly. You guys are pulling some interesting quotes.
This is from your report.
If you look at the report, the focus is on investing in violence intervention, outreach workers.
What is you say that you shouldn't invest in the police, but we ought to invest in two-spirit community programs that acknowledge two-spirit.
We are not going to discriminate against that. We're not going to discriminate against any nonprofit that wants to help us prevent violence in our community.
What is two-spirit? You say don't fund the police, but do fund programs that create safe spaces for two-spirit people. What is? I just want to know. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is.
Well, I honestly, I'm not completely aware of the language or the
you wrote the
spirit of how that was
report.
written. But what I'm telling you is that what
is a two-spirit individual? I mean, really, this is your policymaker's playbook. You are the witness called by the Democrats on this committee, so I assume you reflect their views. Well, you don't want to fund the police. You want to fund safe spaces for two-spirit individuals. What is a two-spirit person?
I feel like I'm looking at a two-faced individual because you talk about
reducing violence. Sir, you're looking at somebody who's reading you your own words, and I'd like to hear an answer.
What are you talking about, Willis?
The answer is you don't have any solutions. You want to invest in gobbledygook and take away money from police officers who actually keep our communities safe, and when you're called on the record, you deny it.
Wow. Go get him, Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri. Yes, sir. By the way, what is a two-spirit person? Are we talking about like Casper, the Friendly Ghost? Are we talking about like, I don't know, The Exorcist? What exactly is a two-spirit person? I don't think I've ever met one. I'm still trying to work through the pansexuals, and that just really creeps me out. I mean, it really does. I mean, hands off the cast iron skillets, ladies and gentlemen. Can we just leave it out of the kitchen? Just take it out of the kitchen into the bedroom. I don't need to know about it. All right, we got to take a break here, folks. 901-260-5926. If you know what a pansexual is, a two-spirit person, give us a holler. I'm curious to know. We'll be right back.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey,
We're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time, and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It'd be great if life came with a remote control. You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, 5 o'clock Eastern, the Todd Stern Show on Newsmax, and 9 o'clock tonight, filling in for Greg Kelly on Newsmax. So we have a busy couple of hours of TV tonight, and we're going to be bringing you the very latest on the government shutdown, so you're going to want to be watching Newsmax this evening. Got a note earlier today from our friends over at First Liberty Institute. Of course, the president and chief executive officer, a member of President Trump's Religious Liberty Commission, I'm talking about the great Kelly Shackelford, who is on our Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line today. Kelly, good to have you with us, and hope you're doing well.
Doing great, Todd. It's great to hear your voice.
And, well, likewise. And by the way, congratulations on the presidential appointment. That is a huge, huge deal. I know you've been at the White House and holding a lot of these panels, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. But I'm just curious to hear your take on President Trump putting together this commission.
Well, I mean, it's so Trump in that it's never been done before. We've never had a religious liberty commission for the United States. And it's unusual. Most commissions are created to give a report to an agency or a department. Our specific charge is to report directly to the President of the United States our recommendations on how to preserve and advance religious freedom into the future. And so that is a tremendous opportunity we have, and we will have this all done by July 4th of next year, the 250th anniversary. And we certainly have a president that is ready to act on things when he's given specific things that can make a difference. So it's an opportunity that we've never seen before, and that window will close by July of next year. And so I'd appreciate everybody's prayers, because we're having a lot of testimony that's really powerful, but it also is leading to ideas on things that we can do and that the president can do specifically that will change the future as far as the protections of religious freedom for our kids and our grandkids.
You know, it concerns me, the level of violence being directed at people of faith these days, and more often than not, we're talking about Christians that are coming under attack, Jews coming under attack in America. And it just seems, at least it seems, that things are getting worse. Is that the way it is, or is that just the way it feels?
Well, that's definitely the way it is on the violent side. There's no doubt. I mean, we all have seen it just recently, right? I mean, my friend Charlie Kirk, we had the Mormon attack on the Mormon church. We had the Catholic Church attack. This is all within the last few weeks, right? I mean, we used to not see these type of things. And so definitely that's inching up. But, I mean, the testimony like that we had yesterday and that we had the last time when the president showed up, I mean, it's stuff we never imagined, like the little 11-year-old boy, Shay, who got up and told the story when the president asked him to stand up and tell his story. And he came up to the podium. The president had to give him a stool so you could even see his head above the podium. And this kid tells the most powerful story in like a minute and a half. But he was ordered by the school, all of his classmates, to read a book called My Shadow is Pink to all of their kindergarten buddies, asking the kindergarten buddy to question their gender. And this little boy was like, I can't do this to my kindergarten buddy. And so his parents go to the school and they say, look, you need to notify parents if you're going to do something like this, and our child needs a religious exemption. The school responds, you have no right to be notified, and we're not giving any religious exemptions. And so instead of respecting the rights of the parents and their child, they held a Pink Out the Hate Day for everybody to wear pink who was in favor of transgenderism so that he would be bullied. This is an 11-year-old. And he got up and told his story. This is going on around the country, and people don't realize it. And so that's why we have the commission, to try to wake people up that the hostility is out there. It's getting worse. But we have a constitution and a history that protects and makes this stuff illegal and unconstitutional. And we're going to win these cases. We just got to have Americans willing to stand up. And that's one of the beautiful things we saw even yesterday, is people coming to testify who are standing up. And that makes all the difference.
And I want to talk about that, because you guys did have some testimony from clients who have been teachers, coaches, regarding threats to religious liberty on campus. And it seems to me that's where a lot of these kinds of things are happening these days.
It is. I mean, I would encourage people, if they haven't seen it, I mean, they can always go watch the hearings there. The Department of Justice carries them live, and then they're taped. You go back and look at them. I mean, Coach Kennedy testified yesterday. Powerful testimony. I think a lot of people know about Coach. They don't know about what he said, which is what this is like to go through this for 7.5 years of your life. And then even after winning at the U.S. Supreme Court, how they persecuted him when he went back to the school. It just shows you the kind of things that are going on. The coaches he's talking to around the country who are still being pressured and pushed to not be people of faith. Marisol Castro, one of the teachers who testified yesterday, who is being persecuted. I mean, people, it's hard to even believe because she has not a large, just a regular sized cross in her personal workspace. And just powerful testimony. I'd encourage people to watch, go back and look at that. They're only like 4 or 5 minutes apiece, but it is exemplary of what's happening across the country. And look, Todd, there are some things we could do about this, and we need to. The Department of Education has had guidelines on religious liberty in the schools. They need to be updated. I think the Trump administration will update those. And one of our recommendations, I think, will end up being that every school district that receives a penny of federal money should have to certify that they are training their teachers, their administrators on these freedoms that both parents and teachers have in our schools. And any school that violates those things, and especially continues to in a defiant way like Coach Kennedy's undergone, they should have their money yanked away.
1,000%, yeah.
This is a violation of the Constitution. And I think, there are some people, some school districts who are just ignorant and they don't understand. They don't understand all these big decisions that have happened in the last 4 or 5 years where we've won at the Supreme Court and sort of changed the standard to open up more religious freedom. But then some of them, as we heard yesterday, are just hostile, and they're doing it on purpose. And so this is a great commission and a great opportunity, and I encourage people to spread this information out there, because the more people that understand the freedoms they have, the bolder they will be, and we won't have to have teachers standing alone because all the other teachers will be standing with them.
Good stuff. And again, the great team that you've put together at First Liberty Institute, you guys always stand ready to stand alongside these great patriots.
Absolutely. All these cases, Coach Kennedy's case, 7.5 years, we do it all free of charge because when we win for Coach, we win for every other coach and every other teacher and every other citizen, really. So people can always go to firstliberty.org. We have resources on what your rights are. You can say, hey, I need help, or I have a question. You can send that in. We're happy to do that. We want to make sure that our first freedom that our founders founded this country on, religious freedom, is protected and not lost because we're not willing to stand up. So we want to help everybody in the country who wants to live out their faith freely and not be intimidated out of their freedoms.
All right, Kelly, great stuff as always, and we just sure do appreciate the great work you're doing. I can't think of a better person to put on the commission than you, and I know the president's got to be so happy with the great work you guys are doing.
Well, thank you, Todd. I thank you for getting the word out. There's really nobody that's an advocate on the radio for religious freedom more than you, and I just really appreciate all you do.
Kelly, thank you for that, and just keep Hiram Sasser in line if you don't mind, for the sake of the country. No, we love Hiram.
I'll need a lot of prayers to make that happen.
Amen. All right, Kelly, great seeing you. I'm going to be down. I'm speaking at Prestonwood Baptist Church in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to have to swing by and visit with you guys.
Please. We'd love to give you a tour and show you where the war rooms are to fight these battles. We had 491 cases last year, but we're still winning over 90% of our cases every year. So the religious freedom is on the side of Americans if they're willing to stand up.
Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Kelly Shackelford from First Liberty Institute on our Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line. All right, we've got to leave it there. And before we take a break, though, Dylan has returned from the wilderness of Arkansas. Dylan, I'm getting text messages involving words like bobcat and rattlesnake. What in the world did you see out there?
I don't know what's in the Mississippi River, but I feel like we attract animals to our transmitter site.
Wow, so you literally saw a bobcat out there?
I did. It looked like a cat, but I guess it was a bobcat. But, who's to say? It looked a little bit bigger than a cat, but I saw it skirming across the road.
Was it growling at you, or?
It was like,
was it eyeing you?
it was like, hey, you're in my Bobcat space.
Your domain, his domain.
His domain. Yeah, we were there.
All right, what's up with the rattlesnakes?
You would have to ask them. They were there. It was a pretty decent sized rattlesnake. I didn't get close to it, obviously.
Right. Well,
I don't have the equipment.
Why? Like it?
Like a shotgun.
Like a shotgun.
Or anything to rattle back at
or
it.
Snake bite kit.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was pretty big. So we have friends out there.
In low places, clearly.
In low places.
Hiding in the weeds. All right. So you were not eaten.
I was not eaten.
We were concerned.
Job was accomplished despite the friends, friendly furry friends.
Okay. You never know what this job is going to entail. I'm just telling you. Rush Limbaugh, though, I don't think he ever sent Bo Snerdley out to deal with the rattlesnakes. That may be a first.
At least we didn't need the boat this time. It's dry out there.
There you go. Well, fair enough. There you go. Let's go to the phones here. Pastor John in Kentucky. Hey, Pastor, what's going on?
Oh, hi, Todd. I kind of wanted to just give the message to Cassie, but you know that committee that President Trump has in Washington as far as the religious whatever it's called.
Yeah, the President's Religious Liberty Commission.
Yeah, Todd, I got a problem here. My son's got the information. We're probably going to send it to you. He's got two Muslims sitting on that committee that have ties to the Islamic Brotherhood and Hamas, and that really bothers me because that's not a good thing. You should get somebody in there that's a Muslim but that doesn't have any kind of ties. But what I can do is I can send you that information, and this isn't an accusation. It's true, and they have 2 arrest warrants out for him in India.
Well, we'll look into it, John. I have no idea who's on the commission other than Kelly Shackelford, who was named to the commission by President Trump. We'll look into it. How about that? And we'll see what we can find.
Well, I can send the information to your station manager too.
Okay, that'll be. Yeah. All right, thanks, John. Thank you for calling in. Let's go to Susie in Gainesville, Georgia. Hi, Susie. What's going on?
Hi, Todd. I knew the president was going to be there with Pete with all the generals and admirals today. And so I just pulled it up and watched it when the president came in. Todd, not one general nor admiral stood up and saluted their commander-in-chief, nor did they clap at any time for him. Why not?
Susie, I don't know the answer to that question, but we will find out for you. Now, and maybe there is somebody in the military who can explain, would there be a reason why so you're saying they not only, when the president entered the room, they did not stand at attention or applaud?
No. And I could not understand why not even 20 or 30 men did not have enough guts to stand up and salute their commander-in-chief when he came in and applaud for him.
We're going to find out the answer to that question. And there may be a legitimate reason why. I just don't know the answer, Susie, but we will. I promise you this, we'll find out for you.
Okay, it bothers me.
I know I can tell, and I don't want you to be bothered, Susie. That's not good.
Thanks, Todd.
That's no way to live life, being bothered. Susie, we're gonna find out for you.
You know I love that president.
I know you do. And we all love our great president. Susie, hang in there. We'll get that answer. And by the way, if you're in the military and give us a call, 901-260-5926. I didn't watch the exact moment that the president walked in, so I don't know what they did, but I will take Susie's version of it. I'm curious, are you supposed to stand, or do you remain seated for your commander-in-chief? 901-260-5926. Got to take a break. We'll be right back.
He's not bitter. He's blessed. Todd Starnes.
From fruits and veggies to fiber and spice, Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a natural bodybuilder, so I know when something works and when something doesn't. I've tried so many different products. When I got your product, and like I said, I'm a natural bodybuilder. As soon as I got it, did them for a week, and I told my brother, I said, Rick, you need to try these. You know I won't give you nothing if it don't. He tried them, bam, the first day. He said, this is a good product. And I got my mom on them, and I just keep pushing your product. It's a great product. You're a great company, and everybody there I've talked to has been so kind. Great product. It does what it says it does.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements today. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. You know, Mike has a passion to help everybody get the best sleep of their life, and he didn't stop by creating the best pillow. He also created the best bed sheets ever. Mike is offering the best deal on his Percale bed sheets. You can get a set for as low as $24.98. The MyPillow Percale bed sheets are breathable and have a cool, crisp feel. They have deep pockets to fit over any mattress. They look great, they feel great, and that means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Also, for a limited time, when you order over $100 worth of merch, you're going to get $100 in free digital gifts. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code STARNS to receive the MyPillow Percale sheets for as low as $24.98. Order now or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS. That's 800-839-8506. Use promo code STARNS. Many college grads are anti-capitalist activists, so if you're a business owner, how do you find new employees who won't destroy your business? Hi, this is Todd Starnes, and that's where Red Balloon comes in. They're America's #1 pro-freedom job board, and they're shaking up the hiring world by focusing on values and mission-aligned talent. Now, there are two ways Red Balloon can help. You can post your job on their national job board. Over 20,000 people visit every week, or you can hire Red Balloon Recruiter for a more customized talent search. Now, the Recruiter team is really fantastic. They start by learning your workplace culture and writing a custom job posting, and then they source and screen candidates from their national database. Their team conducts first interviews, and you get alerts when they find highly qualified candidates. And Red Balloon delivers these high-quality results at a fraction of traditional corporate recruiter prices. People are saying Red Balloon is a game changer. So check them out today, redballoon.work. Use the promo code STARNS and save $100 on Recruiter.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Smokey the Bear. Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do. What you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com, and remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Todd Starnes radio show. So I'm going to play this. This is the most insane story. There was a high school, and they've got a really good marching band. And this high school marching band was told they could not play at last Friday night's football game. And the reason why, according to the local news accounts, is because the marching band was too loud, and therefore the band caused a distraction. Central High School is the name of the band, Central High School, and they were playing another school called Brighton High School. And so Brighton High School said, you can't let your band play musical instruments. And it seems to me the whole point of a marching band is to be a distraction. I mean, you're entertaining, right? But, you know, you also want to distract the other team. That's why the cheerleaders wear the skimpy outfits. So when the quarterback is looking over for the call, the eye is going to wander. If you've seen The Replacements, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Great movie, Keanu Reeves. He's the guy. So anyway, the marching band said, well, we're still going to show up. They didn't have musical. Well, they did have a musical instrument. They had 200 kazoos. Here's what it sounded like. dropping the beat. Is that it? I want to hear more kazoos. Oh, I hear them. Oh, God. Wow. Dylan, that's 200 kazoos. You were in the marching band at the University of Memphis.
Yeah, I was.
That was very clever.
That's very clever.
It seems to me that would be more distracting than a band actually playing instruments.
I think they just came up for a new idea to distract the team, because it's true.
All right, I don't mean to say that I'm not saying this in a mean way. All right, but let me just say, as a Tennessee Volunteer fan, there's nothing. If you want to talk about a distraction, try about 20,000 cowbells at a Mississippi State football game.
Yep.
I never have understood the cowbell. Why the cowbell? They're the Bulldogs.
I know. And it's very loud.
It's so annoying.
And Tennessee still won.
Yeah, they still won. Barely. Yeah.
They did, barely.
I mean, that was a good game. I mean, look, you got to give them credit. But all that to say, would you rather have 200 kazoos or would you rather have cowbells? I mean, it's a fair question. Hey, folks, don't forget, head over to toddsterns.com right now. Make a donation and join the cause for conservative journalism, Christian journalism, as we advance the cause here and grow our platforms at toddsterns.com. Been a fun day, everybody. We will see you again tonight at 5 o'clock on Newsmax and then 9 o'clock on Newsmax. And then tomorrow, we'll be right back on the radio, noon Eastern. Get out there. Have a great one, everybody. Be good.
From director Sean McNamara comes Soul on Fire, based on a true story.
They said you had no chance, but here you are.
Starring Joel Courtney, John Corbett, Stephanie Shostak,